Peace, man. Welcome back. It's good to be back. Good, close personal friend here, Dillon Martinez, guys. We've talked about him before on the podcast. My personal preacher, Dillon. It's good to have you, man.
What's up, man?
Before we get into the introduction of Mr. Dillon, though, it's need to clarify. Obviously, Big Ball and Crosley's presence is nowhere to be found right now. Man, Landon has a phenomenal opportunity up in the cities. We were talking about this. And he's going to take the fullest advantage. We absolutely loved having him here in Winona for the time he's here. And he's going to pop down. We're still going to do What Would Landon Crosley Do? We're still going to have him on the podcast. But, you know, he's a busy guy. He's got a lot of stuff to do. So, Landon, thank you for your contribution, man. This is still yours. This is your baby, right? But, yeah, that's why he's not here right now, man. We got Dillon Martinez. Like I said, before we get into it, Raw Dog is a pre-workout that we've been using. It's a small startup company in Winona, right? And why I like it so much, because there's no fillers. It's pretty much like organic pre-workout, if that's possible. You know, there's no artificial additives or flavors. It's just straight up citrulline, beta-alanine, caffeine, like the ingredients that you need to maximize your workout, right?
Some fancy words.
Right, exactly. Eanes, a lot of eanes. Man, but yeah, it's just exactly what you need to maximize your workout. They have the website up. I'll put the link right up there. $1 per serving or 50 cents per unflavored serving. So I don't know how much you pay for your pre-workout or if you even use it, but that's not a bad route to go. Dillon's got that figured out because he's got his own company, but we'll get to that, man. Dillon, bro, how you doing, man?
I'm ecstatic. Ecstatic to be in this room right now.
Yeah. The studio.
This place is not a joke.
No.
We opened the door and I was like,
No.
The podcast is not balling on a budget.
No.
This is
far from, man. Stepped up in this world. So, Dillon Martinez, guys, he's an entrepreneur, devout husband, Christian, overall incredible human being who's helped me through a lot of hard times, right? I don't know how much I give to this friendship, but you certainly pour into me, man, and I hope I can do anything to give back to you and your wife as well.
For sure.
So, man, first of all, just talk to us a little bit. What are you all about? You know, you're here right now. You own a business with your wife. You're married at 21. You know what I mean? Kind of talk to me about some of your experiences, how you got to where you are right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've tried to shape my life to best reflect my beliefs, and of course, there's been some tough patches throughout my life, but I'm very, like you said, I'm a Christian. I have very firm beliefs in what I believe in. Everything that I do is based on that fact that I am a Christian and what the Bible says that we need to do in our lives. I take that as instructions, and I try to follow those instructions to the best I can. So what that led to is getting married at 21, because I found the girl of my dreams.
Right.
And the Bible is very clear about sexual relations and just Jesus' heart for marriage.
Right.
And I felt that it was right. Prayed about it a lot. Talked to her family a lot. Talked to my family a lot. And we decided, like, it's time. Like, I don't need to wait till I'm 30 and have a stable job.
No. Let's get the marital benefits.
We need to do this now.
Right, tax breaks. No, and allow me to insert. Let me insert really quick. So people always talk about, I'm waiting for the woman of my dreams, right? I'm waiting for the man of my dreams, and that's not going to happen on accident. And here, let me offer an example, okay? Why is Jay-Z and Beyonce married? Why in the world is the most beautiful woman in the world married to Jay-Z?
That shouldn't be.
You know what I mean? So it sounds
be.
It sounds preposterous, right? And everyone always, I remember those memes floating around. People were like, "Oh, how does that happen, man? If Jay-Z can get Beyonce, I can too." You're not a multi-billionaire who created an empire, a literal empire, right? So there's levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jay-Z, the woman of his dreams, right, this wildest fantasy, right, growing up, was probably this, you know, a mega rich, independent, beautiful pop star like Beyonce. But a young, underdeveloped Jay-Z is in no position to get to that level, that person of your dreams. So for you, that girl of your dreams, it's your dreams. That girl is perfect. It's amazing. It's up here. You need to take care of it and get to a place, right, where you're in that space. So you're somebody's guy or girl of their dreams.
Exactly.
You need to be someone's dream.
How many times have I told you when we've talked about relationships that you need to work on you first?
Right.
That in order for you to be that person for somebody, like, you can't just expect to not put in work on yourself, because you need to be desirable too. Like, you need to be desirable, you know? And so that's, work on you harder than you work on anybody else or anything else, because at the end of the day, all investments you make, whether it be financial or educational, like, you want to benefit yourself and in the long run, that person that you're married to. So work on you, man.
For sure. That's literally what I'm doing right now.
That's right.
In my single space, right? Now let me ask you this, okay? Give me, I don't want to say like 3 keys, 5 keys, but what are the major keys, right? DJ Khaled, the major keys to a healthy, happy, sustaining relationship and marriage. And please explain the difference between a relationship and a marriage for you and Brooke.
Me and you have a relationship. Me and my parents have a relationship. Me and my friends have relationships. But the relationship that I have with Brooke is a marital relationship.
Right.
So if I'm mad at you, I don't have to talk to you. Nothing makes me have to talk to you.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But if I'm mad at Brooke, like, we live together. Like, we need to sort that out. So that's kind of the difference, the way I see it. Like, okay, that's a negative spin on it.
Yeah, but
there's so many positives.
Right? Brooke's sitting here like, interesting. Wow, roommates. That's what.
No, but it goes so far beyond that. Like, so one of the keys for us, our happiness does not come from each other, and that's something that I feel so positive, so powerfully about. That in order to get married to somebody or to be in a very successful, intimate, romantic relationship with somebody, you cannot derive all your happiness from that person, because that person is never going to live up to what you deem is good enough for you. That person can't be the source of happiness that you need in order to be truly happy, because that person is imperfect, just like I am, just like you are. So you're bringing 2 imperfect people together who are expecting the other person to be that source of happiness. It's going to cause so much frustration. So Brooke and I know where our happiness comes from. And we know that I'm going to do everything that I can in my power to make Brooke happy, as well as she will for me. But I know that I'm never going to be able to be that ultimate source of happiness for her.
Right.
So she knows that, though. And that's the difference.
Okay, so there has to be a level of maturity before getting into that stage of relationship, obviously.
Yes.
Right? And I was trying to explain this to my mom, where my mom watches all the podcasts.
Someday.
Shout out to
I'm
Sandy.
going to meet you, and
Shout
I
out to
can't
Sandy
wait.
P. Yeah, man. So I was explaining to my mom, when I was talking about you and Brooke, and I'm like, yeah, they're my age, they're married, like, devout in the faith, great people and all that. And she a look on her face comes over when you say married and my age.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, because
It's not normal.
the rule is that is way too early to tie the knot, right? But there's exceptions to every rule.
For sure.
And I'm like, why not? Why can't this be an exception? 'Cause by my estimation, it is. So talk to me a little bit, talk to the viewers. How do you troubleshoot, when you guys might butt heads sometimes in your relationship? Like, how do you troubleshoot? Because like you were saying, you can't be the source of each other's happiness. And if sometimes if you try to be each other's light and hold each other too high,
Yeah.
you butt heads. But regardless, I'm sure sometimes you guys butt heads. It has to happen. So how do you troubleshoot that?
You live with the little things. So there are things that I do that I'm sure Brooke just can't stand, like on a very small level.
Right.
But she lives with them. There's stuff Brooke does that I don't necessarily enjoy, but I live with them too, because I know that it doesn't matter. That's just me being a selfish person.
Right.
So live with the little things is definitely one thing. Don't be so picky. 2, just be honest and talk about what you're actually feeling. Like, if there's a problem that is not a little thing,
Right.
talk about it. But be ready before you go into that conversation. Don't let that conversation be sparked by something like one of those little things that lead to that big conversation about the big thing. And now you're angry about that little thing with the compound interest anger of all this other stuff going on. No, take a step back, get in your right frame of mind before you go into those conversations.
Right. Then it turns into an explosive argument.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we need to be chipping away at this thing.
Right. Which
every
me and
day.
Brooke have never had, like, one of those.
Of course you haven't. No,
No.
that's what I'm saying. And that's why it's so good to have you on here. And I'm beating this over the head for these people because usually it's me and Landon up here, you know, a couple of 21-year-old knuckleheads.
Right.
You know, we can't say anything about successful long-term relationships and marriage, you know, but you're here. You have one of the happiest marriages I've ever seen, and you're my age. You're an anomaly. So it's really important. It's your duty to make sure that
Sure.
any number of people that might watch this understand these things.
Yeah.
You know, so for you and Brooke, man, you said it's your job to make her happy, right? You're not her internal happiness overall, but like it's your duty to constantly try to make her happy.
Right, I'm going to do whatever I can.
Okay, for sure. So, I know a lot of guys, right, when they get to an older age, they might go ahead and like kill it at work and do their thing in the office space and be talking to people, be charismatic the whole nine. And then at the end of the day, when they get home, you know, the tank's kind of on E.
Right.
Right? They kind of stop thanking their wife for making them dinner. They stop, you know, complimenting them and telling them how beautiful they are. You know, some of that stuff kind of like it loses its edge because they feel like I won. I won my wife. Like we're good.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously you haven't got anywhere close to encountering that, but looking forward, you know, what do you do to avoid some of those burnout moments?
Constantly date your wife. That's what you do.
Elaborate.
You don't stop dating her. Like, the marriage isn't the end. Marriage is the beginning. People make a big deal with multi-$1,000 weddings like it's the finish line. That's not the finish line. That's the beginning.
Right.
You need to keep trying to win over your wife just like you did to try to get to that wedding day. And you need to do that for the rest of your life. Now, as it pertains to the work scenario where you work all day and you come home, I just read a book actually by Brian Dodge. He is one of the foremost, like, I'm not going to say motivational speakers, but he comes in and talks to corporations, like multi-billion-dollar corporations, about how to make your home life and your work life better.
Right.
Because if one of them is out of whack, they're both going to be out of whack.
For sure.
One of the things he suggested was pick a spot on your way home, whether it be like a physical landmark that is somewhere between your house and your work. And whenever you cross that landmark on your way home from work, work is done.
Wow.
So like,
Physically giving it.
it's
right.
done.
Yeah.
I passed that mailbox, I'm not thinking about work anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great idea.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's phenomenal.
it's a great idea.
It's wife mode.
Yeah.
Kids, you know, kids, I don't know when they're in the future, but they will be coming. You know, it's like, all right, time to, I can't not give them this energy.
Right.
Right? I remember Eric Thomas, my favorite speaker, he was talking about something like familiar or something close to this. And he's like, man, how dare you come home and just reap the benefits of the marriage and not give anything to it.
Right.
He's like, I don't care what kind of day you had at work, like wash your face before you go inside.
Yes.
Like literally, like straighten up your tie, like look good, like smile. I was like, man, like I'm not in that situation. I don't have experience with that. Forgive me for talking about things I don't know anything about. 15 years in a marriage with 3 kids and a hard job. But
Yeah.
but I'm like, man, that's something to definitely keep in mind going forward. It's like, man, straighten up. And Dave, if you're dating somebody, you don't want to be caught
Right.
looking greasy and crazy. You want to look all the time. You want to look desirable.
Yes.
Right? All right, man. And another thing besides the relationship piece that Dillon is well versed in, because a married man, business owner, has to have his finances together. So let's merge into the financial section, because me and Landon have talked very little about anything financial, right? I do invest in stocks. I play around with it. I joke around. My buddy Eric Mullen, my business partner, he's kind of like my broker.
Yeah.
So he'll just text me like, "Hey man, Apple's doing this," and I'm like, "Cool, bye."
Do it.
Yeah, for sure. But
Right.
I know you got some stuff you want to say. Kind of where do we start talking?
So the thought process that I go through is everybody in college is focused on making money. So Brooke and I are in a situation where we both have a regular job, and then we both have our business, which is Advocare, that we both work towards and work for. And it's a source of residual income. So it's getting to the point where it's starting to be a little bit more self-sustaining. We're still trying to build it and work as hard as we can with everybody that we're helping. But what I've thought about a lot is, okay, so now we're starting to make a little bit of money. What do I do with it?
Right.
So that is the question. What do I do with this money that I'm making?
For sure.
So now the question is away from, okay, how am I going to make this money? To now, what am I going to do with it?
Graduation.
Yes, a little bit.
Right.
A little bit. Because the idea of my money sitting in a bank account, in a bank savings, earning 2% interest is disgusting. I want my money to work for me.
Yeah.
So I first started with the traditional stock market. I went back to my high school, Brooke and I did, before we got married, and we talked to our business teacher, Mr. Sullivan, the one.
Shout out to Mr. Sullivan.
That's right. He worked for a brokerage firm as well and helped people with retirement and all that stuff. And we just asked, like, what can we do to get a head start on the game? And he told us about the app called Robinhood, which I know that you have as well.
Absolutely.
And if you are interested in the stock market game, Robinhood is a great way to get started. Would you agree with that?
Oh, no question. You don't need to, it's no money for trade, for buying and selling. You don't need to pay, so there's no $5 fee or anything
Right.
like that. Yeah.
And when it comes to trading anything, fees are going to be the thing that you want to try to mitigate as much as possible.
Right.
So I looked into stocks, and I decided to buy a whole bunch of stocks. I was like, okay. I looked on the market list, and I was like, I like to look at that number. So I was buying numbers. I was buying stock prices, which is stupid. So now what I've done is I've reallocated, and now I am in cryptocurrency. So this is something that I'm very passionate about now, and I'm working on my undergraduate from YouTube and Google on the topic. But I'm trying to learn PhD from YouTube.
From YouTube.
And I'm trying to learn as much as I can about technical analysis of stocks, and trying to do as much research as I can that I'm no longer buying a price, but I'm buying a product, and I'm buying something that I believe in, rather than just buying a stock market ticker.
Right.
So right now I'm invested in two specific cryptocurrencies that I really do believe in, because I think that they're a product, they're not an investment. So in the future, I think that the two that I'm in are going to kind of change the way we think about money, which is awesome. So when people think about cryptocurrency, they think about Bitcoin, because that is what's been in the news the most.
Yeah,
Most people,
for sure.
people know about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There are thousands of coins, thousands, and there's tokens, and so I've just been really trying to learn as much as I can about how to analyze these tokens and these coins,
Right.
and how to best play my cards according to the market. So right now, crypto is way down. So I got into the crypto game in October, went way up, like 500%.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Literally made $2,000 overnight. It was unreal.
Crazy, man.
But I'm like, I got greedy, and I was like,
course.
sweet, this is just gonna keep going. This is going to keep going. And then it didn't. Now everything's way down.
Yeah.
But just read an article that Wall Street and bankers are getting their bonuses soon. And if you look at the Dow charts, the beginning of the year, everything is gonna go down. People get bonuses. They're called whales, people who have a lot of money to invest into different things and pump up prices. The stock market's already down. They get all these bonuses, put all their money in, pumps the price back up.
Right.
So right now, at least in the crypto space, if I had more money to put in, I would. Right now, anyway.
At this
This stage in the game.
For sure.
And there are many different platforms that you can use to buy cryptocurrencies and whatnot. And some of them have less fees than others. And if you're interested in any of this at all, I would love to help you. I'm not a financial advisor, but I really like this stuff a lot,
Yeah,
and I'm
right.
passionate about it, and I want to share my knowledge about it with
Which
you.
is 90.
So, yeah.
The knowledge is 90% more than most people our age have.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't passionate about looking into it like you are.
Yeah.
So I'll put his contact up right there, man.
Sure.
Blow him up, guys. Seriously. Me
Seriously.
too. If you ever want to. Just want to talk about anything, man.
Right.
I don't got the, I know a thing or two about finance, but don't hesitate. What I'm trying to say is don't hesitate to reach out, man. So, okay, cool. Well, let's put that in a package really quick before we shift gears here. What is the one piece of advice you would give to a 21-year-old about their finances? Right, someone just leaving college.
Someone just leaving college.
Yes, sir.
Do they have a job yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Really entry-level type position.
When it comes to the stock market, Warren Buffett said this. He said, be aggressive when other people are fearful, and be fearful when other people are aggressive. In regards to the stock market, whether that be traditional or crypto.
Wow.
So Warren Buffett said it, so it's got to be good.
Man, Uncle Warren.
So I would say that. I would also say live like a college student for the first 5 years after you get out of college.
Wow.
So that's kind of going to be my plan. I don't need to be riding around in anything fancier than the truck I have now.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? As much as I want to be, there's no reason for it right now. I want to save.
Let that breathe.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's any consolation, the one piece of advice that I would give you to anybody, right? The first purchase you make, please don't buy a brand new car off the lot. Please don't do that.
That price will drop so much.
Depreciates like what, 60, 70%?
The instant.
The second you drive off that lot. Go grab take a couple grand and go buy a really reliable car that you can find on Craigslist, get a diagnostics test, make sure everything's good, and just roll with it, man, for a while, save up that money, and then make that big boy purchase. I don't know if I'll ever grab a car off the lot, to be honest, my entire life. Slightly used is probably the way I'm going to go.
Craigslist.
Craigslist, man.
Craigslist.
I'm telling you guys, Craigslist. That's where I got my 300, and it's
Kicking.
It's kicking. That's
Just
all you
fine.
need. Just fine.
Point
man.
A to point B.
Exactly, man. So we're gonna shift gears a little bit. Something I want to talk about, right? Belief systems. Now, for me personally, I don't want to get like way too deep into my existential questioning and thinking, right? Because I grew up a Christian Catholic, right, in a very Catholic family. I was confirmed, baptized, the whole nine. And once I got to college, we've talked about this plenty. Once I got to college, some bigger existential questions came into play, right? And I got really into different philosophies, reading, researching, constantly running my head into the ground. And I finally got to a place where I felt comfortable, like, okay, what I know for sure in my soul, right? First of all, that I have a soul.
Right.
Second of all, that when my body dies in this physical earth, right, in this dimension, when my body dies, my soul does not die with that body. These are things that are firmly rooted in my belief, right? And in my mind, if I just live a virtuous life, right, and do good and purify my spirit, when the spirit leaves this vessel, it will definitely go to a right place. So that's something I've always hung my hat on. But just recently, like in the last 8 months, there's been a lot of divine intervention. So for me, God has always been like a very loose concept, like just the universe and overarching power. Everything's just interconnected through energy in my mind, right? Such a believer in law of attraction. Our minds, our thoughts have the same exact properties as this table, as the universe, everything. We're all connected in the global consciousness. So in my mind, God's always been a really abstract concept. But like I said, these last 8 months, I've had a lot of divine intervention. And I can start right here, my grandma, okay? So my grandma, her husband walked out on her with 5 kids, right? She had no means of making any kind of money. Husband just up and left. My mom was 2 years old. She broke down. This is in the age where the woman stays home. Maybe she had a job, but the woman just primarily raises the kids and the man makes the money, right? She was broken, had no idea what to do. She was alone. She's never been alone. 5 kids looking at her like, Mom, what's for dinner? And she's absolutely shattered. So she just finally got on her knees and gave it all up and said, Lord God, I will live through you. I'll live through Christ. I'll give myself up to you. I will be your servant, right? Sure enough, 50 plus years, okay? Got all of her kids through college, raised them all right. has plenty of money to get us stuff for Christmas, our birthdays, to give us little money, like little deposits when we need it, you know, typical grandma stuff. She has never in the last 50 years had a job where she asked for money. What she has done is counseled people through Christ. People would come in for free. She'll counsel them, give them guidance, right? And things will pop up. And whenever a bill was due, she would just get a check for like $1,000 or a couple $100, and the bill would get paid. It's the most pure form of law of attraction I've ever heard of. And this is one of the examples of the divine intervention that just slapped me in the face, right? I'm like, Grandma, I'm having trouble with rent. See, straight up. Could I please have a couple dollars? You know, like, I'm so sorry. She doesn't want to hear all that. She's like, of course, it's my job to help you.
Right.
I'm like, cool, expecting a little deposit. Look in the bank statement, she deposited $300 in my bank account. She said, consider that a little Halloween gift. And I'm like, thank you a million times over, you know. And she's just like, the Lord pays me, and it's my job to be fluent with it. Like, she's just so pure in her intentions with everything. The next day, she gets an anonymous check for $300 placed in her mailbox. And Bruce Almighty came down and slipped a check in her mailbox. Anonymous! I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Because of her beliefs and her faith, right? In the game and God, everything is reciprocated, right? So regardless of what you believe in, this world is connected. Everything. The law of attraction is so prevalent, right? And for her, God is the answer. So I look at that situation. Her whole life has been taken care of. There's no way I can tell her that she's wrong. Whatever she believes is right? And whatever you believe is right to you. So that's really given me an opportunity to kind of open back up.
Right.
You know, a few of those doors that were closed before are kind of open now. I'm like, man, Grandma's got it going on. Whatever she's doing, it's working just fine. If I could get a check myself tomorrow morning in the mailbox. But yeah, man, we've talked about this a million times, but you know, you want to chip in, throw anything out there?
Just be faithful, man. With whatever it is that just be faithful.
Right.
That's it. That's all I can say.
No question, man. I appreciate that. And I'm very much trying to do that. Let's merge into this what are we reading? So my friend Dillon here, right, has decided his goals for 2018. And one of the goals is to read a book a month for the entire year. And I've ripped that off, and it is now one of my goals for this year. So, Dill, without further ado, what are you reading, man?
Well, so the first book I read.
Oh! What are we on, like 3?
I started the third one of the month today. You know what's weird? The weird thing is, I've never been like into reading.
Yeah.
I've been like good at reading comprehension.
Right.
Like I can read something, like remember it.
Yeah.
But I've never been like, I need to read.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, I really want to read right now.
Man, you're competitive. You made it a thing.
I made it a thing.
Oh, I need to read 12 books? Yeah, all right. I'm going to read 36.
Right, so the first book I read was the book that I messaged before by Brian Dodge called The Good Life Rules. We got that. Brooke and I were invited to a conference down in Texas for Advocate that we work with. And he was a speaker there, gave us all the book, devoured it. It was really good. I just finished a book yesterday called Outliers, which I want to give to you. Because my best friend Max, who's also my brother-in-law, think about that one. Environment, powerful. He gave me the book for Christmas because he also saw my goals. He said, I saw you want to read a book a month.
Yep.
Read this one. So I did.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Talks about successful people and what has led them to be outliers. Really good. I just started this today. It's called Why the Rich Are Getting Richer and What is Financial Education Really. My dad just gave me this. He said it's really focused on taxes and what businesses can really do to help decrease taxes, but in a very lawful way.
Right.
And he just says it's kind of frustrating because there's so much that the average person doesn't know in regards to financial situations, especially business owners and especially entrepreneurs like ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we need to know the tax system because, like, the taxes can work for us if we know how.
Right.
But I have no idea how.
For sure.
So that's why I'm reading this.
Man, because people are getting robbed.
Yeah.
Right, just by virtue of not knowing.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal, man.
What about you? What are you getting into?
Well, the first book I read was like a 70-page book that was gifted to me, or borrowed, I don't know yet, but given to me by Eric Mullen, my business partner. And it's called The Man Who Planted Trees. I told you a little bit about it. It's just a beautiful, short, little poetic read. How do I summarize? Pretty much the power that humans have to create life, just through the story of a man who planted trees. It's phenomenal. It made me feel incredible about myself. One of those really, really empowering, simple reads. I started off with something light, man, because I'm such a slow reader. I was like, let me just get January done.
Get it done quick.
Yeah, and then I merged into this, The Reason for God. One of my idols and mentors, Justin Lohr. He's the athletic financial director, or what do you call the people that help the football players? Counselor.
Oh,
advisor.
yeah.
Academic advisor.
Yeah.
He's the academic advisor for the athletics at Winona State. He gave me this book. He said it's his favorite book ever. He's read it numerous times. It's called The Reason for God, written by someone named Timothy Keller, right? And what it was is Keller was always asked by people, he's really into philosophy, right? Got a degree in philosophy, and he was always asked by people, man, like, this is what we believe, with the atheistic point of view. Why do you believe in God? And he'd always just be like, man, you just got to be faithful. And like that wasn't good enough for his analytical, philosophical mind. So he really dug deep and did tons of research, right? And he came forth with this book explaining the reason that his analytical, philosophical, intelligent mind believes in God, right? Because philosophy is dominated by the opposing view.
Right.
So this is essentially, it's really interesting because I'm a philosophy minor and I've read so much, literature about just disregarding God altogether, that it's interesting. It's like whatever you believe, it's actually ignorant to not read something like this where it's the other point of view.
Right.
For you to just shut that out entirely just because you're like, no,
It can't be right.
right. It's pretty ignorant. So,
Because what did Brooke say the other day?
the quote that she loved.
Only a fool believes everything he believes.
Yeah.
Or everything that he thinks. That's what it is. Gosh dang it.
Only a fool believes everything that he thinks.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it. I wanted to be so
Fire.
smooth with it.
Man, Brooke.
Also, something that you should look into
Yeah.
is something called apologetics. I'll leave you with that.
Write that down, guys.
Apologetics.
Man, God, this week's What Would Landon Crosley Do is presented to you by Modest Wealth, guys. Go ahead, they have trained professionals that can help you take your business idea, right? Just your good idea and turn it into a business venture down the road, right? I'll give them a call later and try to insert
Nice.
WWLCD in here. And if we don't get it in this week, guys, I promise we'll get it going forward. I know it's everybody, including myself's favorite segment.
That man. I miss that dude.
Let me just, I'll ask, you play the roles, Landon Crosley, we'll do one of them.
Okay, gosh dang it.
Okay, so you're at a bar, right?
Okay.
And you're hanging out with, some of your buddies. And a guy who you really do not like as a person because he cheats on his wife. He's just really unethical, like a greasy businessman that just thinks he can buy his way through life. It's kind of like coming up there and talking to your buddies and you're just not giving him any attention. And then he, because you're like, this is a bad dude.
Yep.
And then he tells the bartender to get these guys around. He's like, here, grab these guys a beer. Are you accepting this man buying you a drink?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You care to...
I don't have to. Here's why. I don't have to agree with him to enjoy a free beverage. I'm gonna say thank you.
Yeah.
And does he know that we have this beef going on?
No.
No.
You're just in the back burners, I just don't really like you.
Well, then that could be a good segue into a meaningful conversation with that person. So had he not done that, I probably would have no interaction with him.
Yeah.
Maybe through this interaction, I learn more about his situation.
Wow.
So now we are having a dialogue, and my preconceived notion of this man is what I believed for him to be, this greasy businessman.
Right.
And now I learned that maybe there's something else going on. So Do I like it right away? Do I like his presence right away?
Yeah.
Probably not. Do I like his free beverage right away? You bet. But now we have a chance to talk a
To
little bit.
open it up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're gonna flip it a little bit.
That's incredible, man. That's, yeah, for sure.
That's a good one.
I was put in that situation. I was like, no, I'm good. Wow, like, made a statement. An ignorant statement. Man.
You said no.
No, I'm good. I'll be all right. Kept watching the game. Man. All right, guys, let's merge it. We've taken a lot of your time. Thank you guys for watching so much, guys. Leave a comment, questions, anything you want us to talk about in future weeks. Landon, we love you. We miss you.
Come back, bro.
Just come back. Okay, so guys, the body and philosophy takeaway of the week.
I'm interested.
So I have, my next speaking engagement is Friday, and it's at the new Better You office in downtown Winona. Go to Midwest Music Store and it'll be in the back. There's gonna be a meet and greet, 9 to 11, free coffee, snacks. They're having a big relaunch, so we're kind of celebrating that, celebrating the new office space. And then I'll be taking the stage at 11 o'clock just for a quick 15, 20-minute engagement, get some people fired up, it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I'm talking about now, but man, intentional versus accidental. So when you go to sleep, okay, you're intentionally going to sleep, right? You're intentionally recovering your body. When you eat some food, you're intentionally giving yourself a fuel source. When you go to your car, start it and drive to work, right? Like that's all, these are intentional actions. Like you need to intend to go to work in order to end up there, right? You're not going to accidentally get some food. You're not going to accidentally get to work, right? You're not going to accidentally do these things. If you're not intending on going to work, you're not going to stumble into your keys and start your car and drive all the way to work. That's not going to happen on accident. You need to intend to do that. So when I ask people, are you accidentally waking up? What I mean by that is, are you accidentally trying to get to where you want to get one day? Because there's absolutely no chance that you will accidentally gain that muscle mass that you want to gain, that you'll get that promotion, right? That you'll get this degree in school. That's not going to accidentally happen, no matter what. You need to be intentional and deliberate on exactly what you're going to do every single day. Get a plan, stick to it, and that's the only way you will get to where you want to get, right? It's actually, first of all, identifying where you want to get, and then making that plan of action. Because like I keep saying, when you wake up, if you're not intentional and deliberate, then you're just expecting it to happen on accident. That's
powerful.
really something I've been thinking a lot about when I was going through a really hard time and I was kind of waking up, slapping my alarm, laying there for 20, 30 minutes, right? Getting up, kind of lackadaisical, make some breakfast, right? And the next thing I know, I wasted 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
As opposed to when I make a list of things that I want to do the night before, and I wake up and start crossing them off because they have times. They wake up, eat breakfast, get up at 7 o'clock, thank God, go to the gym. Things that I can physically cross off. I'm being intentional with my day, like consciously deliberate with what I need to take care of. So I'm definitely, that's a battle for me personally. I end up on both ends sometimes.
That's powerful.
For sure.
Especially for, I'm trying to apply that to Brooke and I's businesses. If we don't talk to people, like, we're not going to help them. And as a result, we're not going to get income.
Yeah.
We have to be intentional with that. There's been times where people have come to us asking for help with stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, that is so far and few between. We need to be intentional with what we are trying to make happen for ourselves and for our children in the future. Because what we do now is going to impact them.
Oh, no question.
So we need to be intentional now so we can enjoy the fruits of our labor later. I like what you just said. And what he just said about making a list before you go to sleep, do that. I'm going to do that.
Oh, for sure.
Because that is awesome.
No, for sure.
That is awesome.
Absolutely.
Keep
No
it with you
question.
throughout the day.
Man, Dylan, thank you so much for joining the cast, man. Hoping to have you again soon.
You already know.
Way sooner than later.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. Any closing comments?
No, man.
For sure, man. All right, guys. Go ahead and have a fantastic week, man. Come grow with us in 2018.
Let's go.